turns out you can be successful as an organization without media coverage. If you're a very sales-driven organization, then maybe you don't need media coverage. But what we've found, and the people that we work with us tell us all the time, that media coverage is valuable because it makes the job easier for your sales team. So if you're a marketing team that wants to get your name out there and open doors for your sales team, then media coverage can help them do that. Plus, media coverage is valuable because it can hit the 10 other people that are going to be blockers for your advocate within the organization.
I think that question is pretty much like asking whether apple pie needs ice cream. You don't need ice cream to make apple pie better, but boy, having that a scoop of ice cream on the side can make it, that much better. So that's what I liken to whether or not an organization needs media coverage. It's a nice enhancement to someone's already existing marketing campaigns. It's a nice enhancement to someone's brand. So I think also organizations do need media coverage if they're doing something really, really unique, because you want to tell that story to as wide an audience as possible. A couple of things here. First of all, you should get to know the editors and the journalists that you want coverage from. And when I say get to know them, I mean like really get to know them. Like walk up to them at a conference, say hello, introduce yourself. Don't pitch them the first time, but just get to know them as individuals, because that way when you send the story pitch that you really want in an email, they'll remember you. They'll remember the time you hung out in that Starbucks line. They'll remember you when you had dinner together at this, giant party. Those are the things that really can make a difference in making sure that your story pitch gets seen by the journalist that you want to get coverage from.
The top three things I've heard from our Sway Health marketing community's press panel is that you need to personalize the message to whoever you're pitching. Plus, make it easy for them to write a story. Far too often, pitches come to a media organization and they're actually making them work to be able to tell the story. Anything you can do to make it easy for the journalist to be able to publish a story about your organization will help you get a story more often. And finally, be sure to respect the journalist. That includes the details like making sure they say their name, that you personalize the email, that you understand what they've covered before. If all they've ever done is paid media coverage, guess what? You're probably not going to get a story, and that doesn't respect the journalists in a way. So make sure you understand how they approach stories and include that in your pitch. What we've found with our readers is that they don't really care if it's paid or not, as long as the coverage provides value to them. Sure, if it's a sales piece, then they're not going to listen to it and actually could damage your brand. But if the piece of media coverage provides value to them to make their job easier, to inform them on a subject that they need to know about, they don't really care if it's paid or not.
That is a very interesting question. And if we were talking about consumer-oriented media, like the stuff you and I read at home, my answer would be yes, it makes a big difference. Sponsored versus non-sponsored media. But in a B2B world, and in such a niche like healthcare, any coverage is a good thing, right? It's not like we're choosing between thousands of videos on the same topic in healthcare. No, there's very few. So although it is slightly better to have earned media, I would say as long as you're getting media coverage in general, that's the goal. And whether it's paid or not, I don't think it makes that much difference, because when you're looking for this kind of content, you're not really looking whether it's sponsored or not. You're just after good content. So good storytelling, good story, good people in the interviews and in the coverage itself, that's far more important whether or not that piece is paid or not. Well, I think one of the biggest ways is brand awareness. Just getting your name and your product out there in the media will really help to ensure that people are thinking about you when it comes time to solving the problem that you say you can help them solve, right? And that is a very big deal in healthcare, because they're not thinking about your products all day, every day. But when the problem comes up that they want to have solved, you want to make sure that you're front and center. And one of the best ways is getting media coverage, because when you are covered by a third party that's not on your website, those will come up higher in Google searches, which is a really, really big deal.
One of the challenges as a brand is you often have advocates that really know your organization. But in healthcare, the buying decision happens through a committee of people. So the question is, how do you influence the entire committee of people who could all say no and damage your sales process? If you want to influence those people, a media outlet can be leveraged to be able to influence the entire spectrum of people who can influence the buying process for your organization. The biggest benefit of working with a media outlet is you get to benefit from the brand that they've created. And we all know that a third-party validation or third-party recommendation of your solution is more powerful. So if you work with a brand, you can use that media outlet's reputation and you benefit from their reputation by having them cover your organization.
By far, the biggest benefit is recruiting. And I know that sounds weird to say because everyone wants sales and marketing, but I think the number one benefit that you get is people potentially that you're trying to hire and trying to attract to your team. When they see this coverage, when they see that you're in the media, when they see the great stories being told about you, they'll want to be part of your team. And it is getting so hard to attract really good talent in healthcare. You need that media coverage to help you with that.